Sierra Leone, a desperately poor country. Decades of civil war and the latest Ebola epidemic have left their mark. The people lack access to clean water, hospitals and schools. But above all, there is a centuries-old tradition, cruel and inhuman, that marks the fate of the people to this day. Female genital mutilation. 94% of all girls are cut. That's more than in any other country in the world.
FGM is a problem in this nation because, one, it affects the health and well-being of women and girls. It affects their development, their education, and try to actually...
Anne-Marie Kolker has made it her life's work to explain the truth to as many girls as possible. She speaks at a school far away from the capital city. The school holidays are about to begin, traditionally the time when most female circumcisions take place.
Come here at every time.
Anne-Marie Kolker tells the girls her own painful story. She was cut at the age of 6, enslaved by rebels and raped. She fell pregnant, but the child died shortly after birth. Today, Anne-Marie Kolker is accompanied by Diaka. She is one of the few girls that have not been cut. Diaka tells the audience that this has influenced her life to this day, and that Anne-Marie Kolker is helping not only her, but every girl in the same situation. Female genital mutilation is internationally outlawed and punished as a brutal human rights violation. In Sierra Leone, however, there is no law against the practice. Anne-Marie Kolker founded 2 women's rights organizations back in the 1990s and now works with partners across the country. Her approach is to talk to everybody involved, even those who carry out the circumcisions. 2 of them are sitting around the table with her today. Sierra Leone has about 50,000 women working as female circumcisers. They enjoy a high status in society, and it's a lucrative business too. Families pay up to $200 for each daughter. Female circumcision has nothing to do with religion, explains Diaka. It is practiced by Christians and Muslims equally. Uncut girls are considered impure and are not acknowledged as grown women until they have been through the ceremony. Anne-Marie Kolker lives in a slum in the capital Freetown, along with about 50 orphan children, whom she and her husband look after with the help of several assistants. She has also founded a school. Today, Anne-Marie Kolker is in a particularly underdeveloped region in the east of the country, teaching women how they can make an income for themselves. The women are growing cassava. Many of the women on the course have not been cut and have been thrown out of their villages as a result. 1 cup of cassava flour earns them the equivalent of 4 cents at the local market. That is enough to live on.
Auntie Annie is a mom. At the end of the day, she's my mom. That's how I see her, as a woman who did not only help us, apart from FGM, apart from protecting us against issues like this, she was there for us.
My dream of this nation, Sierra Leone, is to see an FGM-free Sierra Leone, and I want to see women being educated even to the least community, the least village.
Tanzania, the former German colony in East Africa, is 10 times bigger than Sierra Leone and is also a much more developed country. But the young population suffers for lack of a future. Instead of going to school, they spend their childhood on the streets. The number of street kids in the port city of Dar es Salaam alone is estimated at 800,000. But Eric is not one of them. He has an hour-and-a-half's walk ahead of him when he leaves his house in the morning in a slum on the outskirts of the city. He meets Farida on the way.
Farida! Farida!
Both of them are heading to the same place, to the NGO Talent Search and Empowerment, or as they call it for short, TSE.
We focus on empowering the kids, yeah? We're not giving the money at TSE. We are giving skills because we know giving skills is one of the valuable things when we give education to a child.
Since 2008, Talent Search and Empowerment has been supporting destitute children and young people between the ages of 9 and 25 years. Most of them are orphans or come from families who are unable to afford the cost of school fees. TSE gives them a free education. They offer computer classes, English lessons, and a small sewing room. The many activities available under Talent Search and Empowerment's creativity program are also very popular. Most of them take place outdoors. At TSE, we offer many different courses. We teach dance, acting, music, singing. I see it as my role as a teacher to develop the young people's creativity, uncover their talents, and help them put their ideas into practice.
I believe, ninaamini kwamba youth, they can change the world. That's why I'm here.
These youths have long since changed their own world. Rather than falling into the downward spiral of poverty and criminality as street kids, they are putting their talents to good use. Eric, for example, is now a professional xylophone and keyboard player. Frank, another boy from TSE, earns his own money with his juggling skills. And Farida regularly goes on tour with well-known Tanzanian music groups. Thanks to Talent Search and Empowerment, the youths have become shining examples for an entire young generation. Iraq, a land scarred by war, terrorism and violence. The autonomous region of Kurdistan in the north of the country was making promising progress until recently. But then the attack on the Yazidi religious minority in August 2014 saw the return of terror to the region. Brutal human rights violations are daily fare. Terrorists from so-called Islamic State are committing genocide before the global public's very eyes.
He came back, tied me up, and raped me. I tried to bite him. I cut my veins with a piece of glass, but the cut wasn't deep enough. He said, "Now you're worth nothing. I'm going to sell you."
Marwa spent 3 months in Raqqa, the IS stronghold in northern Syria. She was repeatedly sold on to different men for $10 a time. Then she managed to flee across the border back into northern Iraq. We set up mobile teams to drive around the refugee camps looking for these girls, finding out how we can help them on the ground, what their needs are, what they require. Who can we put them in contact with? Do they need medical support? And what came out of that was this gender center. We pick up girls from different refugee camps and drive them there every day for 2 or 3 weeks. They spend the day there and they can take hairdressing courses, craft classes, do painting and singing. Over the last 3 years, Wadi has looked after more than 600 Yazidi girls. The name of the center, Jinder, is Kurdish and means rebirth. For the deeply traumatized girls, the hours they spend in this protected space is nothing less than that. Many of the Wadi helpers are themselves Yazidis, like Sarah, who is looking after Marwa. She keeps in touch with most of the girls for years. Supporting Yazidi women is an important project for Wadi, but it is by no means the only one. The notion that humanitarian aid solves problems did not come from us. On the contrary, our idea was always about specifically getting involved in areas that are very important for social change. In the 25 years since it was founded, the German-Iraqi charity has already brought about a great deal of change. Wadi's campaigns helped get the death penalty for women abolished in Kurdistan. Wadi brought it to the world's attention that female genital mutilation is not only taking place in Africa, but in the Middle East too. Wadi has been involved in the drafting of numerous laws, including child protection laws. And Wadi wants to do still more for the Yazidi women. The charity has just recently opened a greenhouse. There, women can learn how to cultivate crops as another step towards returning to their lives. Another step towards a future of autonomy and hope.